Hello, I'm Misty Clark, and I'm a teacher for the Little Rock School District, and I'm a special education teacher in a self-contained setting of K through second grade, academic based, and this is a video tutorial on counting collections. Counting collections is just a research-based math instructional strategy. It's been around for several years, and there is I'll upload an article about it that they'll explain a little bit more. But basically it teaches numeracy, one-to-one correspondence, skip counting, number ID. You can tie in writing the numeral. Open-ended thinking, such as how to group and create sets and make your counting more efficient. And it can really be modified for a variety of age groups, from your pre-Ks or performing just emerging kindergarten skills all the way up to 5th or 6th grade, depending on the number of items you have the children count in counting collections. So this is part one of the video tutorial, and I'm just going to speak a little bit today about what to do to get started. The first thing that you need to do is collect items. That's why it's called counting collections, because it's just a collection of things. And it can be from your most basic, simple things that you have around the house, or office supplies, school supplies, math manipulatives. It certainly can be done on a budget. And when I first started, I just gathered things that I had in my classroom. And I'll talk just a second about the organization piece, but when I first started, my goal was to collect 20 different items, or 20 different collections. And I just started by putting them in baggies. And like I said, I use basic things from clothespins to popsicle sticks to ink pens to bottle caps that I save. So they could be things that are recycled, or they can be cubes, or just, the sky is the limit. So I got me at least a collection of 20. And I chose a system that worked for me, and that's what you can do as well. But I purchased school supply boxes, and I only purchased 12 of them. And I store all my other items just in baggies in these 3 different tubs that I store in a cabinet. And I rotate the items in and out of the supply box. And I store the supply box in a basket in one of my shelves, because it makes it easy for instruction, because we do counting collections twice a week. So it makes it really simple for kids. It can also be easily adapted for a center activity or a small group activity, while you're even working one-on-one with a student, or an independent activity. I choose to do it whole group. My students work in pairs of 2, so I have enough boxes in here for every child to have 2 boxes. So that's why I do 10, because I have 10 students, pairs of 2. And I rotate the things out every couple of weeks, just to keep their interest level up high. So, if it's the same old thing they're counting week after week, they're not quite as interested. But if it's something kind of fun, they're usually more motivated to count. So that's basically where you start. Just start collecting any old items. Figure out a system that you want. You might not want to do the supply boxes like I have. You could certainly just use baggies. The reason I chose the box, and I'll explain it more on the second part of the tutorial, is because it helps my kids organize their counting, because I talk a lot about them, if they're not taught to place them in a line or move them over to the lid as they count, they often will be inaccurate in their counting. They'll count things twice. So the boxes are just good and portable and sturdy, where sometimes baggies weren't. So like I said, it worked for me. I bought them in August when school supplies were on sale, so they were like 96 cents a piece. And then I just rotate all the other stuff in and out. And as the years gone on, I collected more things. So I've got a pretty good collection. I have about probably 50 different items that I rotate in and out, from simple things like cotton balls and Q-tips to cards and dice and marbles and little plastic toys, Legos, all sorts of things. So they motivate the kids to work. The other thing that I have in my basket, I have pencils, so they're ready to go. I also have the kids a clipboard because they take their box and the clipboard and their recording sheet and a pencil to different areas in the room to work. And just because I don't have a lot of space in my classroom to have 5 different math centers, they just work in different areas. I'll talk a little bit more about expectations, but just right now we're talking about supplies. I did a recording sheet because many of my kids in the beginning couldn't write their numbers without a model, and they will be uploaded to Dropbox. I have a 1 through 10 recording sheet, a 1 through 20, and a 1 through 50. So based on my kids' needs and level of math ability, it depends on what kind of recording sheet they get and how many items I have in the box for them to count. Since I have a very multi-grade level, I can differentiate it that way. So I have everything ready, so on Monday mornings when we start counting collections, I just bring my basket out. We review our rules and our anchor chart, and then each of the pairs get a clipboard, a pencil, and a box, and they take it to their area. When they're finished, they bring it back, they trade it out, get another box, and I've double copied the recording sheet so they know just to flip it over and then complete the back side. We did have to model and practice this a lot, and the procedures and expectations will be addressed in the second video tutorial. But again, my name is Misty Clark, and this was part 1 of Counting Collections, our video tutorial.